I think it's really easy to believe that living on mission looks like selling all of your belongings and, going overseas to some remote part of the world to preach the gospel there. And for some Christians, it will absolutely look like that as God calls them to that. But I think for the majority of Christians, living life on mission looks like allowing God to use you right where He has placed you. In December, around Christmas time, I decided to put together a little care package for one of my friends who lives in Texas, who will sometimes tune into our online services here at Collister. I went down to UPS to get everything all packaged up, and the UPS worker that was there helping me that day was really taking an interest in all of the things that were going inside of this care package. And when she got to the Collister Christmas box, she just held it up and was like, "What is this?" And just was really intrigued by it. And I said, "Oh, that's, a Christmas box that our church puts together for people who tune in online." And she was like, "What church does that?" And I said, "True Hope Collister." And she then began to tell me that she had recently moved here and was struggling getting plugged in to a church, which basically just created this perfect opportunity for me to get to tell her all about Collister and tell her about our service times and just invite her to check it out. As followers of Jesus, one thing that is abundantly clear is that we are all called to live life on mission. And I think two ways that can really help us to do that is to, one, live with the awareness that God can take any part of our day, even in the simplest or most mundane of tasks like going to the post office, and use it as an opportunity for you to tell other people about Him or to invite them to church. The second thing would then be to then have the willingness to engage those opportunities that He puts in front of you and to allow Him to use you. You're speaking to the queen of letting fear get in the way of every opportunity that God puts in front of her. That's been my life, really, which I'm not happy to admit it, but that's just sadly the way that happens. But I think the thing to remember is if I'm focusing on all the ways that I can mess up, which is where the fear comes from, the fear of failing, I'm forgetting God, and in the Great Commission, in Matthew 28, verse 19, He follows up with saying, "And I am with you." We're not on mission alone. It's not up to just us and how we come up with a plan to accomplish what God has for us. He already has the plan, and we just have to be willing to say yes to that and to surrender to that and to trust Him to fill in wherever we feel inadequate. I think the first step of any process as a believer is to pray. Pray for God to just work in your heart to help release anything that's holding you back from fully living on mission for Him. Pray that He will draw in close and help you remember, not just remember, but to truly feel Him with you, that you're not in this alone. And then just to pray for those opportunities to come and the eyes to see them when they're in front of you. And He'll do it. At the end of the day, what news is better to share than the gospel? There's such power in the gospel and in Jesus and in being in relationship with Him and community with other believers. I don't know. I don't want to say it's made me apathetic to other issues, because that's not it at all, but that is the number one thing on my heart that I want people to know and to experience. So, joy.